I thought early in the game we didn't do a good enough job shrinking the floor, and Rudy Gobert got loose for a couple of uncontested dunks, and we were hugged up to our guys. And this is a team that you really got to play the percentages. When you have a guy 7'2" that's multi-time All-Star, you have to pay attention to him. You have to get to him early, and I thought that our shrinks weren't good to start the game. He got loose a little bit, and they ended up scoring I think 44 points in the paint in the first half, which helped them get to that big lead. And that's what they do. They're a great defensive team with all the length that they have and athleticism. And then they're a team that scores it well in the paint. And we kind of played into their hands. Also, there were a couple of long rebounds that they came up with and got out in transition. Again, to give up 28 fast break points. I'm going to backtrack. We did a better job protecting the paint in the second half. I think they ended up with 22 points in the paint. We did a better job of understanding that we can't hug up on certain guys, and that's why the young fella McDaniels ended up hitting a couple of threes. And you got to pick your poison, and obviously the smartest thing to do is try to eliminate a dunk by a 7'2" kid and then contest late to a guy like McDaniels or somebody else that's not hot on the perimeter. So we did a better job in the second half with that. I like seeing that from our team because we talked about it at halftime. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about was their ability to get out in transition. They were really good in transition. Happened because they got a couple of turnovers. We didn't have a ton of turnovers, but a couple of long rebounds that they were able to get and just beat us down the floor by throwing it over the top. And in my opinion, those two areas were the ball game. I thought we took pretty good shots throughout most of the night that didn't go in, but you got to give them credit. They're long. They're athletic, and they fly around, and you feel a little bit more pressure to get that shot off a little bit quicker, even though they're not going to block most times a perimeter three-point shot, but they make it tough on you. And this is a game that you got to go in with a lot of mental resiliency, because no telling what can happen throughout the course of the game with their length and the way they scramble and the protection that they have at the rim. But we fought, gave ourselves a chance, and they got the W. So you take your hat off to them.
Mike, more on Minnesota's defense. I think this is the 9th game that they've held a team under 100 points. When you're looking at a team like that that's doing some of the things that you're trying to get this team to do, how much do you borrow, or are you inspired, or do you try and take from what the T-Wolves are doing and apply it, or try to apply it to your group? They
got different personnel with us. They got a center at 7'2" and was, defensive player of the year. I know once, maybe twice before. So he's a high-level guy on that end of the floor. You got some length and you got some athleticism. And you're talking about playing Naz Reid at your 4, and he's shooting 40% from the 3. Kyle Anderson at 6'9". Jaden McDaniel can guard 1 through 4, and some 5s at 6'9", 6'10". When you have that length and athleticism, you can do a lot of things differently. When I was coaching in San Antonio, and we had Tim Duncan and David Robinson back there, we started Danny Fair at the small forward, and we told Danny just to press up, because we wanted their wings to drive by us. We got two guys, 7'1" and 7'2", protecting the rim. So there are a lot of things that you can do different with the type of length that they have. So does some of it translate? Some of it does, but we have different personnel than them, and so we have to play a certain way based on our personnel. But Finch does a fantastic job with that group, and Tim Conley, he doesn't get enough credit, but he's done a fantastic job putting that team together.
Coach, how much did you guys miss Malik being out there today?
We missed him a lot. Malik generates a lot of offense for us, and I thought I thought in the first half, we struggled a little bit offensively because our looks weren't as easy, because Malik's a guy that can go get it off the dribble. He's going to draw a lot of attention, especially in the pick and roll, in transition. And then, he's another high-level shooter to have out on the floor. So missing him definitely was a factor because of his ability to make the game easier for his teammates.
Mike, aside from the outcome, did this matchup feel any different than the one you had a few weeks ago and up in their place?
Again, the young kid Jaden McDaniels, he's a special defender in my opinion. He does a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet, especially on the defense end of the floor. And he didn't play in that game, And I thought, obviously he scored 20 points on 8 of 16 from the floor, which is too many for him to score, especially when they have a guy like Anthony Edwards on the floor. But having said that, defensively, his impact is a lot higher than what it may show in the stat sheet or even in some analytics, and that's probably the biggest difference. He didn't play up there, and he plays here. We had Malik up there, and we don't have Malik here, and so it's a little bit different ball game.
Mike, you guys were a lot closer in this game than you have been in the other back-to-backs. Do you feel like they're starting to either figure out how to manage their energy or they're getting in better shape, or do you think that it's just the team you're playing?
No, Minnesota's 21-5 or whatever they are for a reason. They're a really, really good ball club. And I thought our guys did try to bring it tonight. The areas that we can control, I thought just again from the eye test coaching the game, I thought we tried to control them. I thought our communication was pretty good. I thought our physicality at times was good. Now the one area with the physicality, one area in the one thing with physicality we could have done better is when Rudy roll to the hole in the pick and roll situations. We could have been there sooner. We could have hit him sooner, not allow him to catch and go for the steal, or not even go for the steal, just allow him to catch and dunk it. So we could have gotten to him earlier on his rolls, earlier in the game. But besides that, I thought our physicality was at an okay level. And then for the most part, I thought our multiple efforts were good. So I thought the controllables we did a decent job of, and previous back-to-backs, I know especially against the Clippers, I didn't think we did a good job in that area. So, it's against a long season. We have plenty of back-to-backs left. I know we're not going to go 0-15 on them, but tonight, definitely for us, especially based on us being 0-3 in these situations, it was a decent job.
Mike, you've talked about Minnesota, kind of how they're built and their size and their length for quite a while. Is that part of the conversation, like internally with you and Monty and Wes, when you look at like the future and roster building and things that you guys might need going forward?
You always look for length, but for us right now, no, we're not talking about that. It's obvious. You look at everybody looks especially at the current NBA champions. When I was in Golden State, everybody wanted to play fast and shoot a lot of threes. You want to mimic. Even when we were in San Antonio, the way we played offensively, people tried to mimic that. You look at the current NBA champions. The current NBA champions, they're point guards 6'5", their two guards 6'6" in KCP, and then they probably go 6'10", 7'1", 7'2". It's a long team. You look at the West is tough. And you look at the West right now, and they're 7'2", 7 feet, 6'10", and so what you do is you're like, okay, well maybe there's something to it, but you have to take and build your team the best way that you can based on how you play, and the pieces that are around it. So, for us to sit here and say, yeah, if we can get everybody Wemby size and that talented, maybe we'll look at it. But, it's not anything that you just consciously go bring a 7-footer in here or a 6'11" guy in here just to be bigger. They have to fit. They have to be able to play. They have to be able to play the way you want to. And so it's a long process to try to get there. But, the reality of it is the current NBA champions are big and these guys are big. And so there has to be something to that.
Yeah, Coach, on that topic, when you are undersized, what do you feel like you need to emphasize to compensate for that?
For us, playing fast, we got to play fast for sure, and then the physicality of the game, we have to protect that paint, and like I said, we gave up 44 points in the paint in the first half, and we didn't do a good job protecting the paint. That was, there were some lapses on our side that we could have done better, which we did do in the second half, and that's why we had a chance at the end of the game, because we were doing a better job protecting the paint, and again, they're going to get more 3-point attempts because we're protecting the paint, and you got to hope they miss some, but most of them you got to try to fly around, which I thought we did. We even did a nice job contesting late on some of those things. So playing fast and protecting the paint are probably the two biggest things, with one being on each side of the ball that you emphasize.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all.